Now after these matters the Lord's word came to Abram in a vision, saying, Do not be afraid, Abram. I am shielding you. Your reward shall be very great. But Abram was saying, O Master, what will you give me? And I am going away childless. As for the son of Mesech, my female homebred, he is Damascus Eliezer. And Abram said, Since you have given me no offspring, my male homebred will be my heir. And immediately a divine voice came to him, saying, This one shall not be your heir, but one who shall come out of you, he shall be your heir. Then he brought him outside and said to him, Look up to heaven and number the stars, if you will be able to count them. And he said, So shall your offspring be. And Abram believed God, and it was reckoned to him as righteousness. Then he said to him, I am the God who brought you out of the country of the Chaldeans, so as to give you this land to possess. But he said, O Master, Lord, how shall I know that I shall possess it? And he said to him, Take for me a heifer 3 years old, and a female goat 3 years old, and a ram 3 years old, and a turtle-dove and a dove. And he took for him all these, and divided them in the middle, and placed them facing one another. But he did not divide the birds. And birds came down on the carcasses, their cut halves, and Abram sat together with them. Then about sunset a trance fell upon Abram, and look, a great dark fear was falling upon him. And it was said to Abram, Knowledgeably you shall know that your offspring shall be alien in a land not its own, and they shall enslave them, and maltreat them, and humble them for 400 years. But I will judge the nation that they are subject to. Then afterward they shall come out here with much baggage. Now as for yourself, you shall depart to your fathers in peace, buried in a good old age. Then in the 4th generation they shall be brought back here, for the sins of the Amorites are not yet to the present filled up. Now after the sun began to appear in the west, a flame appeared, and look, a smoking oven and torches of fire that passed through between these cut halves. On that day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, To your offspring I will give this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Kedmonites and the Kettites and the Perizzites and the Rephaim and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, was not giving birth for him. She, however, had an Egyptian slave girl, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said to Abram, See, the Lord has shut me off from giving birth. So go in to my slave girl, in order that you may beget children by her. And Abram listened to the voice of Sarah. And after 10 years of Abram's living in the land of Canaan, Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, the Egyptian, her own slave girl, and gave her to her husband Abram as a wife for him. And he went in to Hagar, and she conceived. And she saw that she was pregnant, and her mistress was dishonored before her. Then Sarah said to Abram, I am being wronged due to you. I have given my slave girl into your bosom. But when she saw that she was pregnant, I was dishonored before her. May God judge between you and me. But Abram said to Sarah, See, your slave girl is in your hands. Treat her as it may please you. And Sarah maltreated her, and she ran from her presence. But the Lord God's angel found her by the spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Seir. And the angel of the Lord said to her, Hagar, slave girl of Sarah, where are you coming from, and where are you going? And she said, I am running from the presence of my mistress Sarah. But the angel of the Lord said to her, Return to your mistress, and humble yourself under her hands. The angel of the Lord also said to her, I will multitudinously multiply your offspring, and it will not be counted for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said to her, See, you are pregnant, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, for the Lord has given heed to your humiliation. He shall be a rustic man, his hands shall be against all, and the hands of all against him, and he shall live facing all his kinfolk. And Hagar called the name of the Lord who was speaking to her, You are the God who looks upon me, because she said, For truly I saw him face to face when he appeared to me. Therefore she called the well, well of the one whom I saw face to face. See, it is between Kadesh and between Berad. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore him, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years of age, when Hagar bore Abram Ishmael. Now Abram came to be 99 years of age, and the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, I am your God, be well-pleasing before me, and become blameless, and I will set my covenant between me and between you, and will make you very numerous. And Abram fell face down, and God spoke to him, saying, And as for me, see, my covenant is with you, and you shall be an ancestor of a multitude of nations. And no longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for I have made you an ancestor of many nations. And I will increase you very, very much, and I will make you into nations, and kings shall come from you. And I will establish my covenant between me and between you, and between your offspring after you, throughout their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be your God and your offsprings after you. And I will give to you and to your offspring after you the land that you inhabit as a resident alien, all the land of Canaan, for a perpetual holding, and I will be a God to them. And God said to Abraham, Now as for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your offspring after you throughout their generations. And this is the covenant which you shall keep, between me and you, and between your offspring after you throughout their generations. Every male of yours shall be circumcised, and you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall exist as a covenant sign between me and you. And a youngster of 8 days shall be circumcised among you, every male throughout your generations, the homebred of your household, and the one bought with money from any son of a foreigner, who is not of your offspring. The homebred of your household, and the one bought with money shall be circumcised with circumcision. And my covenant shall be on your flesh, for an everlasting covenant. And as for an uncircumcised male, who shall not be circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin on the 8th day, that soul shall be destroyed from his kin, for he has scattered my covenant. And God said to Abraham, As for Sarah your wife, her name shall not be called Sarah, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will bless her, and I will give you a child by her. And I will bless her, and she shall become nations, and kings of nations shall be from her. And Abraham fell face down and laughed and spoke in his mind, saying, Shall a son be born to 100-year-old, and shall Sarah, who is 90 years of age, give birth? And Abraham said to God, As for Ishmael, let him live on before you. But God said to Abraham, Indeed, see, your wife Sarah shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant, and for his offspring after him. Now concerning Ishmael, see, I heard you. See, I have blessed him, and will make him increase, and will make him very numerous. He shall be the father of 12 nations, and I will appoint him as a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this season in another year. And he finished talking to him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took his son Ishmael, and all his homebreds, and all the ones bought with money, and every male of the men that were in Abraham's house. And he circumcised their foreskins at the opportune time of that day, as God had said to him. Now Abraham was 99 years of age when he circumcised the flesh of his foreskin. And his son Ishmael was 13 years of age when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. At the opportune time of that day, Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised. And as for all the men of his house, and the homebreds, and the ones bought with money from alien nations, he circumcised them. Now God appeared to him near the oak of Mamre, while he was sitting at the door of his tent at midday. And looking up with his eyes he saw, and see, 3 men stood over him. And when he saw them, he ran forward from his tent door to meet them, and did obeisance upon the ground, and said, Lord, if perchance I have found favor before you, do not pass by your servant. Do let water be taken, and let them wash your feet, and you cool off under the tree. And I shall take bread, and you will eat, and after that you will pass by on your way, inasmuch as you have turned aside to your servant. And they said, So do as you have said. And Abraham hurried over to the tent of Sarah and said to her, Hurry and mix 3 measures of fine flour, and make loaves baked in ashes. And Abraham ran to the cows and took a little calf, tender and good, and gave it to the servant, and he hastened to prepare it. Then he took butter and milk and the little calf that he had prepared and set it before them, and they ate, and he stood by them under the tree. And he said to them, Where is your wife Sarah? And he said in reply, There in the tent. And he said, I will come to you when I return, during this season next year, and Sarah your wife shall have a son. And Sarah, who was behind him, listened at the tent door. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in days, and menstruation had ceased to happen with Sarah. And Sarah laughed within herself, saying, It has not yet happened to me up to the present, and my Lord is rather old. And the Lord said to Abraham, Why is it that Sarah laughed within herself, saying, Shall I then indeed give birth? But I have grown old. Can it be that a matter is impossible with God? In this season I will come back to you next year, and Sarah shall have a son. But Sarah denied, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. And he said, No, but you did laugh. And when the men had set out from there, they looked down upon the face of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham was going along with them, as he joined in escorting them. And the Lord said, Surely I shall not hide from my servant Abraham what I am about to do. As for Abraham, he shall come to be a great and populous nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I knew that he will instruct his sons, and his household after him, and they will keep the ways of the Lord, by doing righteousness and justice, so that the Lord may bring upon Abraham all the things that he has talked about to him. Then the Lord said, The outcry concerning Sodom and Gomorrah has been increased, and their sins are very great. So when I go down, I shall see whether they are perpetrating according to the outcry concerning them that is coming to me, but if not, that I may know. And after the men had turned away from there, they went to Sodom. But Abraham was still standing before the Lord. Then when Abraham had come near, he said, Surely you will not destroy the righteous with the ungodly, and the righteous will be as the ungodly. If there should be 50 righteous in the city, will you destroy them? Will you not let the whole place go free on account of the 50 righteous, if they should be in it? By no means will you do anything like this thing, to slay the righteous with the ungodly, and the righteous will be like the ungodly. By no means shall not you, the one who judges all the earth, do what is just. Then the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous in the city, I will forgive the whole place for their sake. And Abraham said in reply, Now I have begun to speak to the Lord, though I am earth and ashes. But if the 50 righteous should be diminished by 5, will you destroy the whole city on account of the 5? And he said, I will not destroy it, if I find 45 there. And he continued still to speak to him and said, But if 40 should be found there? And he said, On account of the 40, I will not destroy it. And he said, Pardon, Lord, if I should speak, but if 30 should be found there? And he said, I will not destroy it, if I find 30 there. And he said, Since I am compelled to speak to the Lord, and if 20 should be found there? And he said, On account of the 20, I will not destroy it. And he said, Pardon, Lord, if I should speak once more, but if 10 should be found there? And he said, On account of the 10, I will not destroy it. Then the Lord went away, when he had left off speaking to Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place.